We used to talk without thinking, fill the dark with sound. Now every word feels borrowed, like it might break us down. I notice pauses growing longer where laughter used to live. I stayed until love went silent, still hoping it would give. You answered with half smiles, I nodded like I understood. We kept things calm and careful, like there was something good. I learned how quiet imitates the shape of peace. I stayed until love went silent and barely noticed me. I wasn't waiting, I was listening. I stayed until love went silent, until nothing asked me to stay. I kept filling in the spaces you left empty every day. I needed words that reached for me, you needed quiet control. I stayed until love went silent, and it took its toll. Felt alive, how love became a presence that didn't speak out loud. Love shouldn't feel like guessing. If you're still here, I shouldn't have to listen hard just to feel near. You didn't stop loving me, you stopped speaking it. I stayed until love went silent, night after night. I kept thinking sound would return if the timing was right. I gave patience, gave my voice away. You stayed the same. I stayed until love went silent and forgot my name. You didn't hurt me with goodbye or walking out. You hurt me by letting love fade without a sound. Silence isn't gentle when it replaces care. If love won't speak, it isn't there. Wasn't dramatic, pleasant. I stayed until love went silent, so I'm leaving with my voice. I won't beg for echoes when silence made the choice. I deserve a love that answers when I call. Your replies got shorter, but you said you were just tired. I told myself that love survives when words expire. I reread every message, looking for the tone. Your replies got shorter, and I felt it on my phone. We used to fill the margins, laughing late at night. Now every answer felt complete before it felt right. I learned how absence shows up in the things you don't explain. Your replies got shorter, and I felt the change. I wasn't overthinking, I was paying attention. Your replies got shorter, like you were already gone. I kept asking open questions, you kept moving on. I needed presence in the silence, you needed space instead. Your replies got shorter, and something in me said. I noticed how I waited longer before I pressed send. Like loving you meant learning where not to bend. Love shouldn't feel like measuring each word I say. I shouldn't have to shrink myself to make you stay. You didn't disappear, you reduced. Your replies got shorter, night after night. I kept thinking closeness would come back in time. I gave patience, gave benefit, you gave minimum care. Your replies got shorter, and I felt myself there. You didn't hurt me with goodbye or honesty. You hurt me by responding just enough to keep me. If love has to be chased between the lines, then silence has already chosen sides. I wasn't asking for paragraphs, just presence. Your replies got shorter, so I stopped waiting by my screen. I won't beg for connection that arrives half seen. I deserve a love that answers with its whole chest. Your replies got shorter, and I chose rest. Some endings don't come with silence all at once. Your replies got shorter, and I finally listened. We never raised our voices, never slammed a door. Everything stayed gentle, even when it hurt more. We smiled through the evenings, kept the peace intact. We didn't argue, we slowly cracked. We chose come over questions, silence over sound. I felt the closeness thinning, but couldn't track it down. Nothing broke between one-sided. I was watching it fade. We didn't argue, we withered right where we stood. I kept calling it patience, you called it good. I needed truth that stirred us. You needed things to stay smooth. We didn't argue, we withered in love, never moved. I noticed how effort softened once quiet felt safe, how love became maintenance instead of brave. Love shouldn't feel like holding your breath to stay. I shouldn't have to fade myself just to keep the peace this way. You didn't stop caring, we stopped ending. We didn't argue, we withered night after night. I kept thinking calm would save us if we stayed polite. I gave patience, gave restraint, you gave silence room. We didn't argue, we withered in a quiet bloom. You didn't hurt me with anger or say goodbye. You hurt me by letting comfort replace the try. If love avoids discomfort to survive. I wasn't asking for a fight, I was asking for life. We didn't argue, we withered, so I chose air. I won't stay where love survives, but isn't there? I deserve a love that breathes, that speaks, that moves. We didn't argue, we withered, and I outgrew. Some loves don't end in fire or flame, they fade in stillness until nothing remains. We sat together on the same side, nothing wrong to see. Your hand was warm against my skin, but not reaching me. We shared the room, the quiet air, but not the truth inside. I felt lonely next to you and didn't know why. You listened without leaning in, answered just enough. I learned how presence can feel thin when it's not love. I smiled through the closeness, pretended I was fine. I felt lonely next to you in real time. I wasn't alone, I was unseen. I felt lonely next to you while standing side by side. I kept reaching for connection, you stayed occupied. I needed warmth that noticed me, not space that felt polite. I felt lonely next to you every night. I noticed how my voice grew softer so yours wouldn't strain. How loving you meant staying calm while I felt the ache. Love shouldn't feel like isolation in the same place. I shouldn't have to miss you to see your face. You didn't leave me, you weren't there. I felt lonely next to you, day after day. I kept thinking closeness would come back our way. I gave patience, gave presence, you gave distance room. I felt lonely next to you, and I knew it didn't hurt me with distance or goodbye. You hurt me by being near and not inside. If love can't meet you when it's close, then loneliness is what it chose. I wasn't asking for more time, I was asking for you. I felt lonely next to you, so I stepped away. I won't stay where I disappear just to make things okay. I deserve a love that's present, that sees me through. I felt lonely next to you, now I'm choosing true. Some loneliness isn't about being alone, it's about being beside someone who isn't with you. I felt lonely next to you, and I listened. We woke up knowing what came next, no questions in our eyes. Same good morning, same small talk, same familiar lines. Your hand reached out automatically, mine did too. Love slipped into routine before we knew. We stopped checking how we felt, just check the day. I learned how comfort feels like love when nothing's in the way. We laughed at all the right moments, cried at none. Love slipped into routine and kept us numb. I wasn't unhappy, I was asleep. Love slipped in a routine and I stayed there a while. I kept calling repetition something worthwhile. I needed presence, needed choice, you needed ease. Love slipped into routine forgot about me. I noticed how I stopped imagining anything ahead, how future talk felt optional, better left unsaid. Love shouldn't feel like maintenance or polite time. I shouldn't have to stay just because it's mine. You didn't change on me, we settled. Love slipped in a routine night after night. I kept thinking effort would restart the light. I gave consistency, showed up, you stayed the same. Love slipped into routine and lost its flame. You didn't trap me here or close the door. I stayed because the quiet asked for nothing more. If love survives only on habit and time, then staying isn't choosing, it's standing in line. I wasn't loyal, I was numb. Love slipped in a routine, so I stepped outside. I won't confuse familiarity with being alive. I deserve a love that chooses me again and again. Love slipped into routine, and that's where it ends. Some love doesn't end in heartbreak or pain. It ends when routine replaces being seen. You used to ask without a reason, just to hear my day. Now we talk around the silence like it's okay. You tell me stories, tell me plans, never pause to see. You stopped asking how I was, and I felt it quietly. I started answering myself before you could. I learned how not to interrupt your mood. I held my feelings carefully out of your way. You stopped asking how I was, and I stayed. I wasn't invisible, I was overlooked. You stopped asking how I was, like nothing changed. I kept listening to you while I went unnamed. I needed care to notice me, not having filling space. You stopped asking how I was, and I felt misplaced. I noticed how my silence grew more fluent than my voice, how loving you meant choosing calm over choice. Love shouldn't feel like maintenance or polite concern. I shouldn't have to fade away. You didn't mean to forget me. You just got used to me. You stopped asking how I was day after day. I kept thinking you'd remember what you used to say. I gave patience, gave my presence. You took it as read. You stopped asking how I was, and something in me fled. You didn't hurt me with anger or goodbye. You hurt me by assuming I'd always be fine. Care isn't care when it stops checking in. If love forgets curiosity, it wears thin. I wasn't too sensitive, I was alone in it. You stopped asking how I was, so I asked myself. I won't wait to be noticed at someone else's pace. I deserve a love that wonders, that wants to know. You stopped asking how I was, and I let go. Some love doesn't leave loudly, it looks away. You stopped asking how I was, and that told me everything. I learned your schedule before mine, knew when not to call. I made myself convenient so I wouldn't stall. You said you'd get back when you could. I said that's okay. I learned to be low priority, day by day. I planned my needs around your time, labeled them not urgent. I smiled through the waiting rooms and moments that weren't certain. I told myself love understands when things get tight. I learned to be low priority and called it right. I wasn't demanding, I was adapting. I learned to be low priority in a love I kept alive. I stayed flexible, stayed patient while I stepped aside. I needed effort that chose me, not leftovers of care. I learned to be low priority, and I stayed there. I noticed how relief found you when I asked for less, how loving me felt easier when I didn't press. The love shouldn't feel like shrinking to fit alive. I shouldn't have to disappear to be yours. patience gave availability. You gave what remained. I learned to be low priority and felt the pain. You didn't hurt me with intention or design. You hurt me by letting me adjust every time. If love only works when one heart waits, that's not patience, that's erasure. I wasn't easy, I was overlooked. I learned to be low priority, so I'm learning now. I won't rank myself beneath someone else's crown. I deserve a love that places me with care and choice. I learned to be low priority. Now I raise my voice. Some lessons come quietly, but stay. I learned to be low priority and walked away. We met up just to pass the hours, coffee cooling on the table. We talked about the safest things, nothing too unstable. Your laugh arrived on schedule, my smile did its part. We filled the time so carefully, but not our hearts. We stayed busy on purpose, so nothing felt wrong. I learned how silence hides itself when days are long. We share space without intention, stayed close, stayed apart. We fill the time so easily, but not our hearts. I wasn't lonely, I was untouched. We filled time, not hearts, stayed warm, not deep. I kept offering my real self, you kept things neat. I needed connection that lingered, you needed moments to start. We filled time, not hearts, and I felt that part. I noticed how the future never entered our talk, how love stayed in the present, just enough to walk. Love shouldn't feel like occupancy without care. I shouldn't have to sit beside you and feel nowhere. You didn't hide from me, you stayed surface. We fill time, not hearts, day after day. I kept thinking closeness would grow this way. I gave presents, gave my evenings, you gave reasons to stay. We filled time, not hearts, and drifted away. You didn't hurt me with doesn't stand. I wasn't asking for more hours, I was asking for depth. We fill time, not heart, so I stopped pretending that being busy together meant something was mending. I deserve a love that fills me, not just my days. We fill time, not hearts, and I chose space. Some moments feel full until you leave. We fill time, not hearts, and I listen. You showed up when it was easy, when nothing asked too much. Your care was warm in small doses, just enough to touch. I felt the line you wouldn't cross, even on good days. Your effort had a limit, and I learned its shape. You tried in ways to fit your world, stop where it got heavy. I carried what was left undone, called it understanding. I thanked you for the bare minimum, smiled like it was fair. Your effort had a limit, and I stayed there. I wasn't ungrateful, I wasn't aware. Your effort had a limit, mine didn't know when to stop. I kept reaching past the line you never crossed. I needed consistency, you needed room to quit. Your effort had a limit, and I felt it. I noticed how you tried harder once I pulled away, like losing me clarified what staying couldn't say. Love shouldn't need the threat of loss to be complete. I shouldn't have to disappear to feel your reach. You didn't refuse to love me, you rationed it. Your effort had a limit, night after night. I kept thinking patience would make it right. I gave time, gave grace, gave reason. You gave what you could give. Your effort had a limit, and I learned to live. You didn't hurt me with cruelty or intent. You hurt me by stopping where love should have went. If effort ends when it gets hard, that's not care, that's comfort choosing itself over being there. I wasn't wasn't asking for perfection, I was asking for follow through. Your effort had a limit, so I said 1, 2. I won't keep stretching myself past what you do. I deserve a love that shows up whole and true. Your effort had a limit, and now I choose me too. Some love tries honestly, but stop. Your effort had a limit, and mine won't be the cause. I learned your moods by reading there, by what you didn't say. I checked the space between your words before I felt okay. Your smiles changed without a sign. Your silence shifted tone. Love felt like guessing on my own. I measure days by how you text, or if you call at night. I learned to read the smallest cues to know if we were right. I kept adjusting how I stood, so nothing felt too deep. Love felt like guessing and losing sleep. I wasn't confused, I was unsupported. Love felt like guessing every step I took. I kept searching for reassurance in the way you looked. I needed clarity, needed ground. You needed room to hide. Love felt like inside, and I felt it inside. I noticed how I stopped asking for things I couldn't prove, how loving you meant staying still so you wouldn't move. Love shouldn't feel like strategy or chance I shouldn't have to read between every glance. You didn't mislead me, you stayed unclear. Love felt like guessing night after night. I kept thinking certainty would come with time. I gave patience, gave benefit. You gave maybes instead. Love felt like guessing, and it lived in my head. You didn't hurt me with dishonesty or lies. You hurt me by letting uncertainty decide. If love can't be spoken while it's here, then guessing isn't love, it's fear. I wasn't asking for answers, I was asking for truth. doesn't break you loudly. It wears you thin. Love felt like guessing until I listened. I stayed because leaving felt final, like closing a door for good. I kept choosing almost love because goodbye felt too loud. You stood close but not quite here. I told myself that was enough. I stayed because leaving felt final, and I was scared of the cut. I learned how fear sounds like patience when you don't wanna decide. I stay and feel safer than moving when you're afraid of the other side. I held on to what still existed, not what was missing inside. I wasn't awful, I was afraid. I stayed because leaving felt final, like there'd be nothing to say. I kept choosing the known silence over an ending that stayed. I needed truth even if it hurt. You needed time to remain. I stayed because leaving felt final, and stayed the same. I noticed how staying became heavier than the thought of goodbye. How holding on cost me slowly what fear tried to protect inside. Love shouldn't be held together by fear of the end. I shouldn't have to stay unfinished just to pretend. You didn't trap me here, I paused myself. I stayed because leaving felt final, night after night. I kept thinking if I stayed quiet it would turn out right. I gave patience, gave delay, you gave comfort, not change. I stayed because leaving felt final, and felt the strain. You didn't hurt me with goodbye or walking away. You hurt me by letting fear decide every day. Final isn't always the end, it's a line. Sometimes staying is what breaks you, not goodbye. I wasn't loyal, I was afraid. I stayed because leaving felt final. Now I'm choosing clear. I won't stay somewhere incomplete just feel terrifying until you see believing wasn't the end. It was honesty. We talked around the edges, like truth was something sharp. We laughed about the weather, skipped the fragile parts. Every almost question fell back into routine. We avoided the real conversation and stayed in between. You said it's not the right time. I nodded like I agreed. I felt the weight of what we didn't say press quietly on me. We chose comfort over clarity, silence over doubt. We avoided the real conversation and waited it out. I wasn't unaware, I was complicit. We avoided the real conversation like it would disappear. I needed honesty spoken, you needed calm right here. I kept hoping time would soften what truth would have changed. We avoided the real conversation and stay the same. I noticed how questions learn to stand politely still, how love became careful language bent to will. Love shouldn't feel like tiptoeing around what's true. I shouldn't have to mute myself to stay with you. You didn't shut me down, we both stepped back. We avoided the real conversation night after night. I kept thinking silence would make it right. I gave patience, gave agreement, you gave delay. We avoided the real conversation and drifted away. You didn't end us with goodbye or regret. You let avoidance do the work. We never met. Truth doesn't ruin love when it's said. Avoidance does by what's left unsaid. I wasn't afraid of the truth, I was afraid of the shit. We avoided the real conversation, so I'm speaking now. I won't live in the quiet space between somehow. I deserve a love that faces what it feels. We avoided the real conversation, and that was real. Some endings don't come from words, but from delay. We avoided the real conversation until I walked away. confusion, like you'd already decided. Your silence didn't feel unsure, it felt guided. I waited for the accident, the reason, the mistake, but your distance felt chosen, not something that just took shape. You answered when it suited you, left the rest untouched. I learned how intention hides in the lack of rush. I told myself you needed space, the love just ebbs and flows, but your distance felt chosen in the way it froze. I wasn't imagining it, I was recognizing it. Your distance felt chosen, like you knew where to stand. I kept reaching for closeness, you kept your plan. I needed effort that leaned toward me, you leaned away. Your distance felt chosen. Every day how clarity arrived once I stopped excusing you, how patterns spoke louder than what you said you do. Love shouldn't feel intentional in its retreat. I shouldn't have to question if absence is your need. You decided, your distance felt chosen. Night after night I kept hoping hesitation meant there was a fight. I gave patience, gave understanding, you gave distance for me. Your distance felt chosen, and I felt alone. You didn't hurt me with confusion or delay, you hurt me by knowing and choosing anyway. Distance isn't neutral when it's clear. If love steps back on purpose, I hear. I wasn't asking for certainty, I was asking for clarity. Your distance felt chosen, so I chose myself too. I won't chase closeness that isn't moving toward me and you. I deserve a love that steps in, not away. Your distance felt chosen, and I chose my way. Some distance isn't circumstance, it's a decision made. Your distance felt chosen, and I finally believed it. I opened doors without a lock, trusted you stand guard. I showed you every fragile part, didn't think that was hard. I thought love meant safety just by staying near, but love didn't protect me when I was here. set it down. I learned how closeness can feel warm, but still let you drown. I told myself love doesn't shield, it only stays. But love didn't protect me in the ways I pray. I wasn't reckless, I was trusting. Love didn't protect me when I needed a wall. I stood exposed in the open, you watched it fall. I needed care that covered me, not comfort watching by. Love didn't protect me, and I know why. I noticed how my needs felt risky, how asking felt wrong, how loving you meant standing bare for too long. Love shouldn't leave you unguarded in the storm. I shouldn't have to learn resilience from harm. You didn't mean to fail me, you just didn't shield me. Love didn't protect me. Night after night I kept thinking warmth was enough to survive. I gave vulnerability freely, you gave presence, not care. Love didn't protect me, and I stayed there. You didn't hurt me with cruelty or intent, you hurt me by letting love be insufficient. If love can witness pain and remain still, then love isn't protection, it's will. It's will. I wasn't too sensitive, I was unprotected. Love didn't protect me, so I learned how to. I won't stand uncovered, waiting for you. I deserve a love that shelters when I break. Love didn't protect me, now I do. Love didn't protect me, so I became my own safe end. I learned how to wait politely while your life stayed full. I fit myself between your plans when it was convenient to pull. You said you cared, just busy. I nodded like I understood. I miss being a priority more than I thought I could. I stopped asking for your time, started taking what was left. I learned how absence wears a smile when love is out of breath. I stayed flexible, stayed quiet, so nothing felt too much. I missed being a priority in the way you didn't touch. I wasn't needy, I was waiting. I miss being a priority, not an option you choose. I kept rearranging my heart so I wouldn't lose. I needed effort that reached for me, not care that came when free. I miss being a priority, and I felt it deeply. I noticed how relief found you when I asked for less, how loving me felt easier when I didn't press. Love shouldn't feel like shrinking to stay inside your life. I shouldn't have to earn a place by staying quiet. You didn't put me last, I let myself wait. I miss being a priority night after night. I kept thinking patience would make it right. I gave time, gave understanding, you gave what remained. I miss being a priority and felt the strain. You didn't hurt me with intention or design. You hurt me by assuming I'd be fine. If love only fits me when it's easy, that's not choosing me, that's leaving me. I wasn't asking for more, I was asking to matter. I miss being a priority, so I chose myself. I won't stand in the margins of someone else. I deserve a love that places me with care and voice. I miss being a priority. Now I make the choice. Some love doesn't end in anger or fight. I miss being a priority and stepped into my light. We learned each other's shortcuts, the safe and easy ways. We stopped surprising one another, counted comfort as praise. You leaned into what was familiar, I follow without doubt. We let comfort replace effort before we figured it out. We chose calm over questions, ease over repair. I told myself love matures when nothing's asked or dared. I softened every sharp edge so nothing would be lost. We let comfort replace effort and paid the cost. I wasn't unhappy, I was settling. We let comfort replace effort. We let comfort replace effort. Called it understanding. I needed movement toward me. You needed things not changing. I kept reaching with intention. You stayed where it was safe. We let comfort replace effort, and love learned to wait. I noticed how trying became optional once staying felt secure. How love stopped stretching forward and stayed immature. Love shouldn't feel like coasting on what once was. I shouldn't have to carry momentum for both of us. You didn't stop caring, you stopped reaching. We let comfort replace effort. Night after night, I kept thinking rest would heal us if we stayed polite. I gave patience, gave room to breathe. You gave stillness space. We let comfort replace effort and lost our pace. You didn't hurt me with neglect or intent. You hurt me by choosing ease over engagement. Comfort isn't love when it avoids the climb. If love won't move, it falls behind. I wasn't asking for more, I was asking for movement. We let comfort replace effort, so I chose to move. I won't stay where love survives but doesn't prove. I deserve a love that keeps choosing even when it's hard. We let comfort replace effort, and that's where I depart. Some love fades not from conflict but from rest. We let comfort replace effort, and I chose depth. There was nothing left to explain. No fight, no final scene. We stood inside the quiet where love used to be. I felt the answer in my chest before my mind agreed. I walked away calmly and let it be. I didn't rush the ending or look back for proof. I knew that staying longer wouldn't change the truth. Your eyes weren't asking for me, mine weren't asking why. I walked away calmly without a goodbye. I was numb, I was clear. I walked away calmly without raising my voice. I didn't need destruction to make a choice. I chose my peace over waiting, my breath for delay. I walked away calmly and felt okay. I noticed how relief arrived the moment I stepped back, like setting down a weight promise to stay. I shouldn't have to break myself to make you stay. You didn't lose me, I returned to me. I walked away calmly, night and a day. I stopped asking love to prove its way. I gave honesty, gave presence. You gave what you could give. I walked away calmly and chose to live. You didn't hurt me with anger or goodbye. You hurt me by not meeting me where I try. Calm isn't weakness, it's knowing when to go. When love stops moving, you don't know it more. I wasn't cold, I was complete. I walked away calmly with my heart intact. I won't rewrite the story to justify the past. I deserve a love that stays present, that meets me fully. I walked away calmly and finally felt free. Some endings don't need closure or sound. I walked away calmly and set myself down. You didn't vanish suddenly or leave a scar. You just stopped arriving where my questions are. I waited for confusion, for mixed signals, fear, but your absence felt clear, standing here. Days passed without explanation, and somehow that explained. You answer when it mattered least, let the rest remain. I told myself it was temporary, but my heart knew better. Your absence felt clear, like a letter. I wasn't guessing, I was seeing. Your absence felt clear, not cruel, not loud. I kept hoping love would return, but it wasn't around. I needed presence, choosing me, not space that stayed. Your absence felt clear, and I listened that way. I noticed how peace arrived when I stopped waiting, how clarity replaced the ache once I stopped explaining. Love shouldn't feel like translation or delay. I shouldn't have to read between every day. You didn't drift from me, you stepped out. Your absence felt clear, night after night. I silence meant there was a fight. But silence wasn't arguing, it was a choice. Your absence felt clear, and so did my voice. And you didn't hurt me with lies or goodbye. You hurt me by not showing up and letting that reply. Absence doesn't need words to be true when love is missing. It chose you. I wasn't abandoned, I was answered. Your absence felt clear, so I stopped the wait. I won't hold space for something that chose its state. I deserve a love that arrives when it's here. Your absence felt clear, and I moved from fear. Some clarity comes quietly without sound. Your absence felt clear, and I put myself down gently. I learned how giving can feel lonely when it's never returned. I kept offering a standing, hoping you would learn. I held space for your becoming, forgot about my own. I loved you like it was my job, not like I was known. I don't need constant reassurance or perfect timing too. I just need love that turns around and reaches back to you. I'm tired of explaining my worth or waiting to be seen. My heart wants mutual love that meets me halfway, not ever when it's convenient, but choosing me every day. I want hands that reach for mine without being asked to approve. My heart wants mutual love, and I do too. I noticed how peace came quietly when I stopped overgiving. How loving myself felt lighter than constantly fixing. Shouldn't feel like sacrifice, a voice of ground. I shouldn't have to disappear for love to stay around. You didn't fail me, we just didn't match. My heart wants mutual love, night after night. I kept mistaking imbalance for something right. Gave devotion, you gave what you could give. My heart wants mutual love, and that's how I'll live. Didn't hurt me with intention or neglect. You hurt me by letting me love alone without reason. wasn't asking to be saved, I was asking to be met. My heart wants mutual love, so I'm choosing that now. I won't shrink my needs or soften my vow. I deserve a love that gives back what I give. My heart wants mutual love, and I will live. Some hearts don't want more love, just share. My heart wants mutual love, and I'm finally paired. How pain can sharpen you, turn trust into a wall. How closing off feels safer than feeling it all. I stood right at that edge where hearts learn to defend, but I chose another ending, one that doesn't bend. I won't confuse protection with becoming cold. I won't let disappointment decide what love I hold. I still believe in kindness, even after loss. This is me, staying soft, no matter the cost. I'm not naive, I'm aware. This is me, staying soft in a world that taught me not to be. I won't let what hurt me decide the rest of me. I'll keep my heart open with boundaries drawn. This is me, staying soft and still moving on. I noticed how strength feels quieter when it doesn't shout, how gentleness can stand its ground without burning out. Love shouldn't turn you rigid to survive. I shouldn't have to lose my warmth to stay alive. You didn't harden me, I chose heal. This is me, staying soft night after night. I'll feel deeply and still know when you step aside. I won't armor my tenderness just to belong. This is me, staying soft, and that's not wrong. You didn't break my softness, you tested it. I learned that gentleness can coexist. Soft doesn't mean unguarded or weak. It means I know my worth and still feel deeply. I'm not closing, I'm choosing. Clearly this is me, staying soft with my eyes open wide. I won't punish my heart for having tried. I deserve a love that meets me without force. This is me, staying soft by choice. I'm sung with whispers instead of fights. This is me, staying soft and stepping into light.